What's going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
I'm Pat.
And I'm Zach.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. They say you can't choose your family. Well, you also can't choose which era of music you grew up in. This is a weekly show where we discuss our favorite bands from adolescence and how they continue to shape our lives today. Each week, we'll head back to the early 2000s and take a closer look at the cards we were dealt.
Tom, it sounds like you have thoughts.
Oh boy, do I. Which is unfortunate because I had absolutely none as we were recording the Taylor Swift episode last week. I was too in the moment, too in the now, which is not something I'm used to. But after listening to Nothing But Me by Taylor Swift for the last week, after spending so much money on her merch because she's been putting out new stuff every single day, I love that song. I could do a 4-hour episode on it. And I want to say that, okay, leading up to her release, it was like building the most tension I've ever experienced. Then the episode comes out and, like, I'm sorry to use this metaphor, but it was like an orgasm. Like, okay, the video's done. I was exhausted. And I was just like, I don't know how I can absolutely care at all about Taylor Swift for a while because, like, it was so much build up and then just like release and everything. But dude, she's been like blasting 3 emails a day, new merch only available for 24 hours, new lyric video, new vertical video, new performance at the Billboard Awards. This girl is a fucking genius, and I just wanted to show
the
some
Billboard
love.
Award video performance got a little flack on Twitter. I gotta say, not everyone's a fan of the whole business. I would say, now that I've had a week to marinate on it, color me skeptical about what this album's going to turn out to be. Very fun, very summery, but it's no Shake It Off in terms of like an album introducer, which is what we touched on last week a little bit. So we'll wait to see. We'll review it. Before we go into, well, I'll just say we'll probably review Angels and Airwaves, announce some new music as well that's going to be coming out, if not already. Maybe the single came out, but we'll probably review that when it comes out. We didn't want to do too much of not what the show's about in too many weeks in a row, right? So
The last thing I want to say before we get right into it.
I didn't want to get right into it. I wanted to ask you what kind of merch you bought. But I at least wanted to tell everybody that, okay, so I watched Avengers Endgame, no spoilers, whatever. But Thanos is like, I'm an inevitability. And that stuck with me because it feels like the episode we're about to do is an inevitability, given the subject matter of the early 2000s. And we're not going to get into it now, but we will be doing, is it Bring Me to Life or Wake Me Up?
Bring Me to Life, yeah.
Or is it Bring Me to Life, in parentheses, Wake Me Up?
In brackets, inside.
Right. The graduation song. No. We were joking earlier that there's probably a skating party in the early 2000s where one may have skated to that song and then immediately followed it, like Mambo No. 5, either played right before or after it somehow in the same evening. So just a confusing childhood altogether for all of us. Anyway, we're going to work through that later. But yeah, so you're all merched up, you're swagged up. Any more remaining thoughts on Me, exclamation point, the music video that we discussed as an emergency pod last week?
Well, it was the most successful 24-hour launch on Vivo of all time with over 54.2 or 52.4 million views. It was at 100 million views after like 60 hours or something insane. Just, I don't know. I mean, you can't deny that whatever Taylor Swift is doing is like beyond ordinary. You can almost say extraordinary.
Counterpoint, is this the most ordinary thing she's done in the last 3 albums?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Compared to the other, like, she's obviously reached like crazy heights, right? Like, she's in, like, is the debate I talk about that my brother and I had. Like, if you, like, it's like when Nicki Minaj says and Ariana run pop, do you have to be not at a Taylor Swift or Beyonce level to be in the conversation about running pop, et cetera, et cetera? So she's obviously risen to a different level, but is this up to par with the standards she set for herself and things of that nature?
Well, I'm seeing now that RIAA quantifies her as the 3rd highest grossing digital sales artist of all time. I'm wondering if the other two, who was it, Ariana Grande, are the other two bestsellers. I doubt it. So I just don't think the numbers lie, right?
No, I guess just from like a barbershop chatting like level. Like if you were going to say who runs pop, like are Taylor Swift or Beyonce even allowed to be in the discussion for like who's currently running pop? Or are they just entities like an Oprah entity or something where it's just like they've become their own thing and they're not allowed to be involved in those debates anymore type thing? And I guess if they are, would sub-question, me, exclamation point, be up to the standard that has been set given the current level? Anyway.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. When I say the names Eric Clapton, Foreigner, Rod Stewart, Backstreet Boys, Queen, would you think that these people sold more or less albums than Taylor Swift?
Let's see. Who has them like less? I mean, some of the top biggest numbers are Fleetwood Mac and Michael Jackson, right? So those would all be probably less than Taylor Swift.
Well, you've definitely got the Beatles, Michael Jackson, Elton John, Pink Floyd above Taylor Swift. But Taylor Swift, with far less years under her belt, has outsold Queen, John Denver, Phil Collins, James Taylor.
Oh, you mean career? Okay.
Yeah. So I don't see Ariana Grande on that list anywhere.
Like in the barbershop, would you be like, is it fun to talk about the up and coming people in terms of like who's currently the it person?
All I care about are numbers, Pat. You know this about me.
I'm learning it quickly. I'm also learning that we're never going to get to the Evanescence music video on this. There's too many leftover Taylor takes.
Yeah. So anyway, got a ton of merch. I bought 2 of her singles on vinyl. And by 2 of her singles, I mean 2 of the same single on 2 different versions of vinyl. And I bought a shirt. And the smart thing is, with each of those purchases, you are also buying a free digital album. So I have now bought her song 3 times. Everyone who buys her merch is buying that song. So everything counts as a single sale, which is just like the most brilliant marketing. I don't want to call it a scheme, but
it seems like the guy who's obsessed with numbers is okay with
a little bit of a boost.
A little bit of a boost. That's a soft way to phrase it if I've ever heard,
It's smart. It's very smart.
You should write press releases. Like, you'd be a great PR man. Like,
thanks, man.
You would go into the newsroom and the journalist would be like, a slight boost strategy? Like, well, okay.
But when I opened her shirt, which was ungodly expensive for a t-shirt, the first thing I did was drop it out of the package onto the kitchen table into a puddle of olive oil. And
on purpose? In like a weird ceremonial thing? Oh, okay. I don't know. You seem high on life, man. I don't know what to. I don't know. Every turn and every quirk in the story, I'm not sure if it's. But okay, so this was an accident. I'm sorry to hear that.
It was an accident. I was heartbroken. I was swearing up a storm.
Was it an accident that you had spilled olive oil on the table to begin with?
We were cooking. We had just finished, and I was excited about the mail, so I was excitedly opening it, and it fell out of my hands. Just like that kid in, was it Australia, who like was the first person to buy the iPhone 6S, and like on camera he opens the case, and like the first thing that happens is the iPhone falls onto the sidewalk. That's what I felt like. Just a big dumb idiot. But I found out that shampoo and a toothbrush will get out oil stains. So I did not have to buy a second shirt.
and Taylor just keeps on giving life lessons along with t-shirts. And you got the digital download as well. So you got 3-in-1, baby.
Right. Okay. So how do we want to segue into this? Should we try to be creative?
I would like to say that I would like to segue into it this way exactly.
Okay.
We are currently, last week we discussed a Grammy-winning artist. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Actually, should we check that before we go on?
We should. We should.
No, yeah, she would have at least won the music video.
Oh, she has
that's why
many
That's
Grammys.
why Kanye dipped in over Beyonce. I mean, I'm sure she's won more than that. But anyway, you know who else has won 2 Grammy Awards?
Oh, please tell me.
The band Evanescence.
Oh, wow.
Has legitimately secured 2 Grammy Awards for their musical efforts into the world of pop culture.
Can I say
that's something we have to reckon with?
That blows my freaking mind.
There's so much about, we're not going to be able to do it any justice, but I sent you a really long email about
It was just the entire
how there's
Wikipedia
a subreddit
page.
Yeah, but I bolded stuff. I like Reddit.
Okay.
It's our usual research pattern. There was nothing different. This is no more, no less than how much effort we usually put into the show. But Amy Lee, the lead singer, there's apparently a subreddit just dedicated to appreciating her art, I guess. I did not know there was that level of fandom, I guess. But apparently they're a wildly successful. Apparently they have been, up until pretty recently, pumping out stuff. But much to my surprise, the male vocals in damn it, it's not called Wake Me Up, but I'm going to refer to it as Wake Me Up.
Bring Me to Life.
Just because Bring Me to Life, right? The male voice was just thrown in. It's a feature because they said they needed a male voice for them to be successful, and she didn't want to have the studio force a member of the band, so it ended up just being for that single or something. So that kind of shell-shocked me in general. Did you know this, that it was not a two-singer band from the get-go?
Well, okay, so when I first heard this song, it was obviously over the radio. I loved it because it was so edgy, and I was like 9, so I was loving it. I downloaded it on LimeWire or Kazaa or whatever the hell, and the file name said Bring Me to Life by Evanescence featuring Linkin Park. So for a very long time, I thought that was just Linkin Park in the background.
That might have been the actual quote, according to my in-depth Wikipedia research. Yes. Well, I guess maybe we should back up. Let's back up and kind of try to tell the whole story here.
Sure.
Amy Lee and a guy named Ben Moody, which is the best emo rock band name in the history of emo rock band names. Hey, Ben Moody.
Ben Moody.
Like, can you think of a better, like if you were writing the Dewey Cox movie for 2000s emo pop, like Ben Moody would be the perfect Dewey Cox name, I feel like. Anyway,
Sure.
Not important. Although it is important, because this is the best thing that's ever happened to this show, I think, is finding out that the actual one of the founding members of the band Evanescence is named Ben Moody. Anyway. I don't think... I'm going to stay on this, because I just need you to react to it, quite frankly. How do you feel? How do you feel knowing that a cornerstone of your weird skating party livelihood came from a brick by the name of Ben Moody?
Well, I'm on his Wikipedia, and the best part is that's like his birth name, just Benjamin Moody.
No, this man was born to form Evanescence. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There was, on the first day God created light and water and earth or whatever, then AFI came, and then Amy Lee and Ben Moody came together to form a band called Evanescence. But it sounds like they were young. They met at a Christian youth camp in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Ben Moody heard her playing a Meatloaf song on the piano, and then they started performing at coffee shops and things like that, and then they made some noise, and they got discovered, and a dude in Memphis was like, hey, let's do some shit stuff. And they were like, well, we have to name our band. And they almost named it Childish Intentions. And they almost named it Stricken. Stricken would have been very good as well. But they decided on Evanescence, apparently. And to quote Wikipedia, which means disappearance or fading away.
Oh.
Or whatever. From the word evanescence. I don't know. Like, Wikipedia does a Genius lyrics on us and just says something really nonsensical for a second. But they were pretty wildly successful from the get-go. I mean, you were looking at a few numbers of the records they sold throughout their career, and it is staggering. The 2 Grammy Awards, to me, blew my doors off. Like, oh God. And this is kind of the inevitability thing. Like, we had to at least touch on the fact that this song existed. And we were looking up headlines, and it made a headline that Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande, back when they were together a few months ago, had sang it at karaoke. And there was this weird TikTok challenge where they would do a camera effect where kids would put their fingers together and it would look like there was a little middle hot dog finger, that visual thing. And they would eat them to the sound of the piano riff and shit. So, like, there's like wild subculture success for this tune. I'm having trouble defining it. Like, on Wikipedia, or on the internet or whatever, Gothic Metal Act is how they described it, or gothic rock. Like, how would you even say what this is? I feel like it's every layer of everything that was wrong with what we try to define on the show in one perfect tiny little package. And I almost don't even know how to conduct this episode based on how pure. It's like Walter White's meth or something. It's just like, it's the show in its purest form, and I don't know what to do with it now that I didn't think it was possible for a guy named Ben Moody to form a band with somebody and sing about death in this way. I don't know. It's so rich. I need to take small bites at a time, and I'm going to pass the ball to you to see where your head's at on this.
So I read that there's a lot of controversy over the meaning of the song, and I guess they came from like some quasi-Christian roots. And some people think it's like a call to Christ. The singer claims it was about meeting, her boyfriend or husband, something. I don't know. And
yeah, well, it sounds like they tried to be pigeonholed like the whole way. So she's just a talented vocalist. I think we can at least agree that, right, they're talented musicians. She's a good singer, very talented singer. Artsy in the goth realm in the same way Wayne Coyne of the Flaming Lips is artsy in the rainbow realm or whatever, right? Like everyone has the thing where they like to metal in, or she's like in the Tim Burton world of like, let's get a little darker and weird or whatever. And they were like, oh, you met at Christian camp. We're going to sell this as a Christian band. And she was against that as well, rightfully so, because she's like, this isn't true to me, nor do I want there to be a random guy that sings in this band. I'm the singer. And so kind of the whole way she was kind of getting hard by everybody, or at least like she had a vision. She even, like, it sounds like Ben Moody even left the band at one point after they reached wild success because he wanted to make more commercially successful. Like he was more into it for giving people what they wanted to hear, and she was more into what she wanted to do. So it sounds like every step of the way there was a guy in her way trying to change what she wanted to try to be doing with her art, which sucks a lot. And I'm curious if it hadn't been touched at all, if the I don't know. It's just like, oh, there's a moderate success in pop culture that's kind of gets made fun of on hip hop, and Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande got drunk at a bar and sang at a karaoke or whatever. But I'm curious if the story had gone a different way and they just kind of let her do her thing for an entire career and all that. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or
yeah, I'm looking at Ben Moody. He went and started a band called We Are the Fallen, which they call themselves American Irish Gothic Metal, which is just so
That's
funny
incredible
to me. But anyway, yeah, going back to like skating,
one of your
stuff,
typical American Irish Gothic metal bands.
But like going back to the skating party stuff, I feel like this song was such an anomaly. I mean, first of all, it came out on my 12th birthday, April 22nd, but it didn't. I forget what other songs were coming out that year in 2003, but I mean, I guess Linkin Park already came out with their thing, but like this song, I mean, swept the entire fucking world. Like everyone was singing this song. Everyone knew it. Everyone skated a little bit harder, a little bit faster when it came on after Momo number 5. And like people who just wouldn't listen to like goth rock were just blasting this thing. And what do you think accounted for that? Is it the melody? Is it the fact that a girl with a really nasally voice is singing with a dude that's yelling?
Well, can we talk about the music video a little, I guess? I mean, like, it's a very dramatic. I feel like you were closer to this crowd than I was at every step of the grade levels. Was it embraced by the goth community? Am I allowed to ask that question without sounding like an absolute imbecile? Like, was this a fair representation of people who like to wear black and be a little theatrical and maybe Shakespearean in a weird way? Like, the music video is her with these, like, long flowing gowns walking along the side of a old building ledge in, like, an urban setting. And she gets to see into all the hotel rooms, and it's jarring in a lot of ways. Like, it's creepy, it's dramatic, it's, dare I say, Victorian at times. I don't even know if that's accurate, but, like... how do you feel? Is it fair to call it goth rock, or why do you was it like this one niche exploding, and like did it help explain this is what we enjoy in more palatable like forms?
I mean, I was never quite goth. I wanted to be when I was like 14, maybe 13 actually.
You were definitely a Sk8r DC guy, but I feel like if there's a gym full of people at an assembly, you would have been closer to those people than some other people. So I guess you're my closest expert I have in terms of you and I talking about this subject matter.
Well, before I met you, I was definitely trying to be more goth. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I wasn't in that community. I wasn't really old enough to experience it from that lens. But what I imagine is that this is marketed to like this goth culture in the most like least common denominator way. Is that the right way to say it? Like the most marketable version of that. Like I don't think like cyber goths were like jamming the song in their basements, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what those I don't know. All the kids in my Catholic school loved it though.
I guess we should do a whole episode and research goth culture to even have been qualified to even talk about this stuff. Because I mean, Letterkenny has cyber goth scenes, and I'm like, oh my god, cyber goths! Like, I'm really excited because I want to like learn more about the culture itself. Because it seems like there's a theatrical nature to it. There's definitely the wearing of black and things like that. What's weirder to try to wrap your head around why this song did so well. It was this official theme for WWE No Way Out 2003. This and their song My Immortal were both featured on the action movie Daredevil soundtrack, which I believe was the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Gardner one. So it's just, if we take all the best clips from this show and piece together the dumbest, weirdest, most obscure collection of pop culture references of all time, that might be the most like, oh yeah, remember that time Evanescence won a Grammy for the two songs that were featured on the Daredevil soundtrack, but also featured as the background music for a WWE segment?
And was also the song of Mitsubishi Motors promotional videos from the years 2003 to 2005.
And I think it is now time for a segment for missed opportunity or great idea. What do you think?
Let's do it.
Okay, we don't have any theme music. Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe you'll surprise me on Friday. You often do because you're a talented editor. But should this have been at some point in a coffee commercial?
Ooh. I really like that. Just will wake me. Gee, Pat, I just can't seem to get myself motivated today. Whatever should I do?
Yeah. Oh, try some Folgers Crystals. And I don't know, would he like drink the coffee and then be like, wake me up? Or like, would it be like a little, like all the sketches, there was like 7 different sketches for the Little John stuff. They were like, oh, what? And then like, could it be a guy that only goes into the coffee shop and all he can say are the verses of the man that was forced into this song? All the things that I never do again to see what? I'm in the dark. Okay. Wake me up. Okay, sir, are you ordering a coffee? You know, just... I've been sleeping 1,000 years. Like, are you having a problem with your sleep pattern, sir? Coffee might not be the answer. Yeah. Save me.
What I like to think is that the friend hands them a delicious cup of steaming hot coffee, and they look down into the mug, and silhouetted in the coffee is the band performing this song, yelling, wake me up. And the
wake me up. Yeah. Save me. Oh, damn. So good. So
and
pure.
The drinker is screaming, save me, as they dump it down their throat, right?
Yeah, something.
We gotta start storyboarding now.
It would take some tinkering. You want to go to the lyrics? I feel like we have to put context to people who may not have heard the song before. And you want to do the video? We got to get into something. But
I kind of just want to goof around all night.
I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to put it in the context like 2003. We've done the 2003 draft. Obviously, this did not make it on, right? And yet it is a staple, right? I mean, I misspoke when I said TikTok videos are featuring kids doing the weird finger eating thing. They're not doing it to this song. They're doing it to the Kids Bop version of this song. So it like has made Kids Bop albums. It's like, I wouldn't say it's a commonly thought. It's like one of those things that's just there in your memory, in your mind, but it doesn't get any, like, no one would be like, oh yeah, Amy Lee and Ben Moody created the band Evanescence, and Ben Moody's a really cool name for like an emo star, right? Like, no one knows any of this shit. And the guy that was saying the male parts, which is the most like defining like Linkin Park-ish, I thought it was like, when we came into the episode, I was like, is this supposed to be rap metal? What is rap metal? Should we do a rap metal episode? Apparently now we're doing a goth rock culture episode as well, just trying to understand some of these little niche genres of the decade that were probably alive before the decade. But yeah, there's a little bit of it seems like a turntable sound, you know, but are they trying to mimic Linkin Park? Because Linkin Park's first big album, I think, was 2002, 2003. Do you know off the top of your head?
Hybrid Theory was 2000, I think.
Oh, okay. So they would have been around for a little while. Here's the singer with talent. Here's the other singer with talent who does more of a talking rap situation while the turntable like mixes. I don't know.
Mr. Hahn.
Let's do the lyrics real quick. Just Mr. Who's Mr. Hahn?
The DJ from Linkin Park.
Oh, okay. He plays an important role. There's a DJ in freaking Wheatus.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Teenage Dirtbag definitely has turntable noises in it, which is everything about everything is the weirdest and hardest to explain. When the aliens come, it's gonna be like, just skip it. Listen to Seven Nation Army. That's the thing. This song almost won rock song of the year, and not thank God, but like it only lost because Seven Nation Army, the most noted stadium song of all time, happened to come out that year, right? Like. They won Grammys for, and I'll have to scroll to look this up real quick, but Best New Artist, I believe. And yeah, Bring Me to Life was the best hard rock performance. They won those were the 2 Grammys they won. And then it almost won for Best Rock Song. But yeah, Seven Nation Army, for obvious reasons, ended up taking that particular title that year. But they almost were a 3 Grammy Award winner for this effort, which is fucking crazy. I don't know how to, I wish I was being more, better with my arguments and explanations here, but everything about this is so wild. And it was a thwarted vision to begin with. They just like took a very talented singer and was like, here, we're going to turn this into kind of a weird Linkin Park ripoff and it's going to win a bunch of Grammys. And she sounds like that was, I don't know, it's just so odd and weird and hard to explain. And it ended up on Kids Bop and like, I don't know. I'm having a quarter century. Well, I guess I'm not 25 anymore, but the quarter century crisis never ended, I guess is what it sounds like. That's what we're realizing here. But let's do the lyrics and get back on track a little bit. What do you think?
Sure, yeah. So the song opens off with the little piano riff, right? You get a little bit of guitar in there, which is the exact guitar tone from Hybrid Theory. Like the exact guitar tone, which is a very pleasant, super high gain, lots of drive, scoop out that mid end, get it out of there. Just nice guitar tone. And
do you think Edward Scissorhands or like Nightmare Before Christmas when you hear the piano like melody?
Oh, I don't know. What do you think?
Both somehow. I don't know. It's all a fever dream for me. But anyway, it's just her in the music video. She's laying on a hotel, what seems to be kind of like a John Wick universe, tall hotel where like people are there on business you don't really talk about or something. And she's there in the bed and she's not writhing, but she's just there singing very intensely. Like of all the songs that take you to an immediate place when you listen to it, this might be the poster child of songs that take you to that place as soon as you start listening to it.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like,
absolutely.
You're fucking in the shit. Can you think of any songs at the top of your head that do a similar thing for you? Just take you there no matter what the context?
I think Angel by Shaggy takes me to the same skating party, actually.
Okay. So this is the skating party vision come to life.
Yes, absolutely. Who Let the Dogs Out? Same skating party. Come on, ride that train and ride it. Remember that one?
Woo, woo. There was even a little dance with that one, right?
Oh, yeah. I loved it, too. I want to talk a lot about the video because... And we'll do the lyrics along like at the same time, but the video just doubles down on this, on the aesthetic. Like even the bed sheets in this hotel are just like perfect, like silk sheets with like the lace trim on it, the Edgar Allan Poe wallpaper.
Is that goth? Is goth like Edgar Allan Poe woke up in 2002 and kept like lining his fucking house with that reminded him of his own time period or something? I don't know. Like, is that what goth culture is? I just don't know. And we should have done more research before we recorded this. But what the is going on in this music video? She's in like a castle room, and then you're like, oh no, she's just in a hotel, like in a city, and she's gonna commit suicide. I don't know.
We'll call it commercial goth, right? I think that's probably the best way to
I guess
describe it.
You know where my mind went when I listened to the first verse? Do you mind if I read the lyrics real quick?
Let's do it.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors, leading you down into my core where I've become so numb without a soul, my spirit sleeping somewhere cold until you find it there and lead it back home. So she's lost, she's astray. But my mind ended up going, when she's like waking up in the hotel and everything, I'm like, some of these like riffs and the way that like, if it was Claudio from Coheed and Cambria singing these words. It could have been so easily a Coheed and Cambria song if it was 3 times the length and the guitars were played up a little bit more in the recording or something. It was just like, this is so close to what ended up being Coheed and Cambria's career or something. I don't know. That's where my mind jumped to.
Okay.
Anyway, just like nonsensical, very epic. I don't even know what to say. I'm lost. I'm befuddled by the Kids Bob and everything involved with what happened after they recorded these video frames and sounds down onto recording.
Yeah. Do you just want to go right into the chorus here with the...
you were talking about the music video a little bit. Yeah, we can do the chorus. We don't hear the boy yet, the guy, the male singer that was forced into this. Wake me up inside, wake me up inside. Call my name and save me from the dark. Bid my blood to run, which is, it's kind of like when All American Rejects was like, be with me, please, I beseech you. You're like, what the are we doing, man? Like, what's happening? Why are we talking like this? Before I come undone, save me from the nothing I become. So not a lot of self-confidence. She needs, obviously she's met somebody, and she said, I think in interviews at some point that it was about her future husband, right? There was somebody that was going to save her from the darkness, as it were.
Yes, I do believe that was the general vibe. And for what
But I cut
worth,
you off entirely from your take on the whole music video altogether. Like, what were you feeling? What were you thinking? What were you seeing?
Well, I think this might actually be the first time that I saw the video was today. I watched it like 10 times in a row. I mean, obviously the CGI and stuff isn't up to 2019 standards, but I do think that they captured a pretty cool vibe with like the dystopian, super dark, tall, narrow buildings thing. The building that she's kind of on the ledge of appears to be some kind of like nightmare or like flashbacks of things that made her feel so alone and numb without a soul. There's people
somewhere cold.
There's
No, I'm just kidding.
people
Sorry.
in party masks lifting it up with frowns painted on their face, and of course,
Dude, the clown scene. Can we talk about the clown scene for a second?
Sure.
I think this video f***s with me because everyone's like, oh, ha ha, Evanescence. But when you get 30 seconds in, I saw somebody tweet the other day, they were like, this is the kind of day where I listen to Helena by My Chemical Romance 3 times in a row. Like, okay, so I'm like, okay, so other people have weird days. I think let's just, with that fact existing, and like, let's leave our cool card at the door. Like, if you're listening to this, there's no way you are listening to it to be like, oh, thank God, I've never enjoyed listening to this song. Like, I think there's something very, like, what's so weird is you hate how much you wound up enjoying it either as a youth or still could be like, you know what, I kind of with that song, you know, like, I think there's something about how good the video is too that is disturbing to me as we talk about it now. Like, she's walking along the ledge of this hotel. She wakes up in her bed. She's distraught. She needs someone to save her. And she's walking along the ledge. And before she gets to like the room where the band is playing, she passes this room where, if you know the opening to the movie The Dark Knight and the Joker robbery scene where they all have very disturbing clown masks on, there's a party where people are wearing only those style masks. And one girl takes it off and the face underneath it is jarring as well. I don't know. I thought it was actually a weirdly effective piece of art from a music video standpoint. It made so much more sense than any Click 5 head automatica bullshit we've talked about on this show. I guess what I'm trying to say is like, can we just lay down the gauntlet and say that it's good for what it is fundamentally, but for some reason there's like a caveat every step of the way in terms of, I guess, the goth culture it represents or what it even is to begin with, or the fact that it got turned into a kids bop, which is this weird joke in itself. I don't know. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, no one would ever be like, oh, dude, I love Evanescence, and like say it out loud overtly, but it's all in the back of our skating party memory, like subconscious, right? I don't know.
Well, I think it takes a deep dive going into the bridge here, especially in the music video. More heavily features McCoy, and she's falling off of this ledge, and the two of them are going back and forth in their vocals. And for like what seems like a minute and a half, they're just struggling to get her back on the ledge.
Yeah, and that's the one flaw, I would say. Like, oh, he's got her for sure. And the fact that she ends up falling is comical for sure. Like,
well, but Amy Lee's like physical performance of her like struggling to get back on the ledge is like a masterpiece. Like, they show way too much of the band playing in this like padded room. Give me more Amy.
Is that supposed to be like a psych ward room in the hotel? Could you tell?
Well, I don't know. Rich people do like their tufting. It could just be a nice fabric. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be psych ward. It looks like
the man's not wrong.
Fabric.
The man's not wrong. It's goth culture, dude.
I'm not sure, man.
Apologies to goths everywhere. Cyber goths, cyber and otherwise.
So what? She struggles to get back on the ledge as they're going back and forth.
Yeah, now that I know what I'm without, you can't just leave me. Breathe me and make me real. Breathe me to life. Wake me up inside. Call my name and see me from the dark. Blah, 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 blah. Make my blood run, all that stuff. And then, is this the bridge? Frozen inside. Oh, yeah. Frozen inside. Without your touch, without your love, darling. Only you are my life among the dead. Super goth. I can identify that lyric as a goth lyric. And then they bring in Paul McCoy of a very much lesser known band to probably do the thing he's gonna be known about in his obituary, I would imagine. I mean, this has to be the most famous thing this dude's ever done.
Dude, their Wikipedia photo is comical. It looks like us playing the VFW when we were 15 years old.
Right, exactly. So it's just like, I mean, there's a goth way of looking at it. When he dies, this is how we're going to think about it. No, just kidding. I don't know goths. Sorry, goths. And then he's like, all of this time, I can't believe I could see. And then, you know, that typical Three Doors Down style there were, 11,000 of those bands in 2003. Kept in the dark, but you were there in front of me. I've been sleeping 1,000 years, it seems, chimes in Amy, right? Got to open my eyes to everything. So they're not noticing each other. There's a relationship that's going to blossom into something very beautiful, but they keep focusing on the fact that they couldn't find it at first. I don't know. It's a very goth way of looking at what is otherwise a beautiful relationship, it sounds like. And then he keeps kind of weird rap metal talking without a thought, without a voice, without a soul. And then there's somebody who whispers, which one of these whispers is even featured on the Blink self-titled album. But yeah, in this song, it's "Don't Let Me Die Here," right? Just kind of like, oh, what the, like, we're all skating in front of our moms, like, Jesus Christ. Like, there must be something more. And then Amy finishes it off strong, "Bring me to life." Yes. And then they run through the chorus once more. And but they've been struggling. He's like, "Oh, we found each other. Let me pull you up into this room where the band's playing." But she falls to her death in the music video as it fades out, which is like, what were your thoughts? Because this week is the first time I saw the music video. So many thoughts. I'm barfing them out into this podcast, and you have to listen to it, and I'm sorry. But what are you thinking?
So, I mean, I didn't have this thought until just now, but this probably absolutely wasn't the intention behind the video with the director, but I kind of like if the meaning was, especially with how the song turned out, you need a man to make you successful. The whole song is like, I need you to make me whole. And I think at the end, she's relying on like this man to help her up, and he fucking can't. And then she dies. Like, don't think that you need this other person to be like who you're meant to be. Rely on yourself, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but it from my vantage point, the song is about her future husband, and it's a beautiful song about like she getting, wake me up inside. It's guised under all these fucking weird John Wick hotel universe music videos and, black clothes and weird piano riffs that are horror movie specific genre wise. And, but it's like such a positive message. I'm surprised it's so like feels so negative and moody and might be the number one song on the chart of like songs that take you to a very specific place.
Yes.
An episode that we'll have to probably do later in time, but it's a weirdly beautiful song in a weirdly dark packaging. And again, if I haven't made it clear, I have no grasp on goth culture whatsoever. So my sincere apologies to Amy Lee and Ben Moody for even thinking about mocking your name, because you just did what you were born to do. And really, there's no hate on that front at all. And you brought us at least 3 minutes of very awkward Moody skating in our youth. So what can we really say?
Yeah. Overall, a banger.
Is it the king? Also, I will ask this. Is it the king of songs that you kind of like but would never like? It's on your iPod, but you don't want them to scroll past it when they're looking for a song on the road trip?
Oh man, I would blast it. I am unapologetic about the things that I like.
Oh, okay, cool. Maybe I'm too self-conscious about my own because, yeah. Would you say this is a bop?
It's a bop. Certified. Double quadruple platinum.
Ding, ding, ding. Club horn. Not club horn, but maybe like a bop. It did, actually. It did. It was so... Can you run through the numbers again about how wildly successful this band was?
Oh, God. I just X'd out of Safari. I think it was 4 times platinum, which is
Jesus Christ.
4 million copies sold. To put that into context, Taylor Swift's 1989 went diamond with 10 million, but her most recent album, Reputation, only went triple platinum in the US. So this song outsold all of Reputation by Taylor Swift.
Those sweet, sweet pre-Napster, LimeWire, iPod years where CDs were flying off the shelves.
Right. And when you bought 3 shirts, it didn't equate to 3 song downloads. Right?
Now I kind of want to get an Evanescence shirt. I think what we've learned here today is that I fucking love this song, and I need to let the world know.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's honestly, like, looking back, better than I remembered, and just seems like such an anomaly that, like, a song like this just captured the attention of so many people who would otherwise not be listening to commercial goth metal, right? Like...
That's the t-shirt. It's just the words commercial goth metal. That's we God. Should I think there's your episode title probably.
No, but we love it.
Evanescence, commercial goth metal question mark. Damn it. It's definitely a force to be reckoned with. I don't know if anybody's understood or tried to. I mean, I guess we haven't answered any real questions here today, other than the fact that it was there and it was loud and it was seemingly important enough to make a Kidz Bop album. So it was something that existed heavily and got a ton of radio play. But yeah, until we do the goth episode, I guess we'll never know. So do you think it was the right move for her to fall to her death at the end of the music video? Because the song's about her finding love, true love for the first time. So I'm like, come on, guys. Like, come on.
Well, then she wakes up, so it's a nightmare, right? I mean...
Oh. Yeah, never mind. You're right.
Okay.
I stopped watching when she started falling because I was on my way to work. I was rushed. But you're right. If she wakes up, then never mind. That misinformation spreads faster than... What's that quote? Like a lie will make it halfway around the world before the truth gets published or whatever.
Sure.
So, yeah, I apologize. Yes, she does wake up. And I'll follow that quote with confirming the fact that in the Evanescence music video for Wake Me Up Inside, she does wake up at the end and it was a dream. So an important distinction there as we fact check our own episode in real time about commercial cyber goth rock grunge.
Commercial.
Do you want to put this thing out of its misery? Or I wasn't sure this was either going to go really well or really poorly. And I'm more confused than I was heading in. I don't know. How do you feel? Do you feel okay? You all right?
I always finish an episode being like, man, that was a train wreck.
Yeah. In particular, this one feels like, what the just happened? I'm not sure. But maybe that's the point, and maybe that's the beauty of all of it. I'm glad that they seem to have found success.
I think its existence is just so confusing. So it's on brand. We'll say that. It's on brand. You want to give a song of the week and get out of here?
While I look it up on my phone, I mean, if we were going to stay in this lane, what would be some of the other acts that we'd have to talk about? I mean, is AFI even the right guess to staying in this lane or what? Oh,
they were so niche. I don't know.
Dancing Through Sunday's a bop, though. I would talk about that song all day.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, me neither.
John.
Well, I don't know if I have a song this week. I've listened to Nothing But Me by Taylor Swift. Should I double down on that?
I would say go to Amazon and look up Ron Carnage, Sk8r Boi, and buy the book so Tom can pay off his student loans. That's the main fright of our day. I'm going to go ahead and double down, triple down probably on Head's Gonna Roll by Jenny Lewis. What a fucking knife to the intestines that gets twisted. Oh my God. Every time I hear it, I feel like I'm like, I'm like, oh shit, I'm 74 and dying. Like, I don't know, like it's over and I'm watching my life flash before my eyes. It's just the weirdest experience listening to that song. It's just, oh my God. It's almost like Something by Julian Baker. It just takes you to that and that's what I was trying to say. Evanescence is like the song Something by Julian Baker in the sense that you can't escape the gravitational pull that exists from what it sonically brings to your brain immediately, right? When the opening few notes of that piano or the opening few notes of the Julian Baker song hit your fucking face, you're automatically going to have a mood adjustment for the rest of the day. Do you get what I'm trying to say now?
That's perfect,
like,
man.
You can't just escape that pull. It's like a star that ate itself. Or we'll get Neil deGrasse Tyson on the show to help me straighten that out because I've got that wrong too. But it's like, hey, by the way, remember this? It's just like, no. You're like, oh, you're like, I don't know. It's this weird horror movie where you eat your own face and body, and then you end up in your own black hole. But I think that's what I was trying to say. Anyway, Head's Gonna Roll by Jenny Lewis is similar, but not quite that intense. But man, wow, crazy. Boomtown. It was my latest audiobook. It's about Oklahoma City. My wife's from Oklahoma, and I enjoyed it very much. Very good storytelling on Sam Anderson's part. Really good book.
Cool. Pat, what was that? Did you hear that? Should you go check on that noise real quick?
Yeah, and then I might stop by the restroom and use it while I'm out checking on the noise.
Okay.
So I'll be gone for like a little while. So I'll be right back though.
Okay. So I put out a vlog the other day about Ron Carnage being in stores. If we didn't talk about that enough, it is in our local bookstore. I am very excited. And some of the music I've been using for the vlog is by a talented DJ named David Cutter. And he puts all of his music royalty free, up for free for people to use. So give him a shout out for the free dope music. Anyway, are you back, Pat?
Yeah, good thing I was able to check on the noise and urinate in the time it takes to... No, I actually... They've been doing this challenge at work. Oh, by the way, what were you doing while I was gone? Did I miss anything good?
No, nothing at all, man. Just sat in silence.
Oh, good. I won't question it any further then. They've been doing this challenge at work where they have like some gift cards to hydrate like a champion or something. And you have to mark how many glasses of water you think. And during the challenge, one of the first floor toilet urinals broke in the men's bathroom. No, I don't think it was because everybody was peeing that much more, but it's kind of like you look at one thing and you look at another thing and you're like, life doesn't have to be this complicated, right? Like, I think the power of this challenge and the weight. And I was talking to my one coworker who made me laugh so fucking hard. He's like, man, I can't stop nading. I had never heard anybody shorten the word urinating. He's like, yo, I'm nading left and right.
Oh my God, dude.
I fell in love so instantly with everything that he was going for in that moment. I got to say, mad props. But we were nading left and right. It was the nation of nading for a minute there as we were all hydrating like champions for our work challenge. And hopefully the gift card that goes to the deserving winner is enjoyed because there was much nading on the first floor men's bathroom.
I remember back when I was working at the wood shop, I was trying to drink 128 ounces of water a day. And whoa.
This was only asking you to drink like 64.
Yeah. So I was drinking a gallon of water a day in an 8-hour period.
How's your urethra?
Dude, I got nothing done. I was just pissing I was just walking from one bathroom to the other back and forth.
So you doubled me up. I was like getting up all the time just to be like, that thing in the morning where you like put your hand on the wall? I was doing double hand on the wall for at least 2 or 3 of my daily like pees throughout the day. Just like letting it fly to the point where you're thinking about other stuff you're missing out on getting done, both at home and at work. Like, man, this is getting out of hand fast. So
I don't know if I've ever done a hand on the wall because I need both hands to hold my shirt up when my pants are on the floor.
Yeah, let's end the episode. We should have done it 7 minutes ago, probably at this point. But I love you, and I guess I don't know what the just happened, but thank you, Evanescence, for that. So yeah. Anyway, talk to you soon, man. Thanks, everybody. Bye, Ron Carnage, and bye, Tom.
Love you, man. See ya. Thank you, everybody, for listening all the way to the end. Evanescence, what a hell of a band. Looking back, they really did some great things. Tweet at the show @_reminiscentfm and let us know if you can think of a better emo musician name than Ben Moody. And remember, you can still buy Ron Carnage, the Thinker Boy, at whoisroncarnage.com/buy. All right, we'll talk to you all on Twitter, and we'll see you next week. Bye.